Hi, I didn't see you there. My name's Jen Bryan. Where am I right now? A music festival. How'd I get here? Money. How'd I get that money? I got a job. How'd I get the job? With the tools I learned in IB English. You see this? That's what you get when you don't take IB English, because you're not you're not given the tools you need to succeed.
I'm here too.
Roll the tape.
Ha 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 ha.
Yo!
Oh, hey Roman. Roman, I'm trying to choose my classes for next year and I just can't figure it out. What should I do?
Wait, what are you talking about? You're talking about like the whole entire English thing? The IB, AP dilemma, that whole entire debate that's going on?
Yeah, dude, especially with like my English class. I have no idea what to do. Both of them seem so appealing and have so many great things to offer.
Yeah, both of them do sound appealing, but there's one that stood out to me the most. And I gotta say, I'm going with IB English, but let me explain it to you. I understand that AP and IB, this whole entire debate that's going on must be a hard decision, but I'm pretty sure IB is the way to go, and I'm going to break it down to you.
Yes, Roman, please break it down for me.
Well, first, Giacomo, in the junior year of your high school, oh my god! Oh, baby! Oh, baby!
Are you good?
Looks like Roman and Giacomo are experiencing some problems. While they fix their technical difficulties, I'm going to talk about my experience in IB English and what I think about the course. Hi, my name's Jen. I'm a senior, like Giacomo and Roman, and we're all in the same IB English HL class. To start off, in my opinion, so much of what being a high school student is about, and being young in general, is having the ability to question everything around you. However, when you're in school, sometimes you're taught to internalize information and engage in things like rote memorization, then give your own opinion or engage in things that cause you to look inside yourself. But this is not true of IB English. Not to be political, but in our current climate, political climate, so much of what we absorb and see are not true. What we read about in newspapers, what we see on television, what we hear from our own president, what we see on social media, don't have complete truthfulness. And unfortunately, this has become a norm. But a great thing about IB English is that it teaches you, long after the course is over, I mean, we're graduating in 2 weeks, it teaches you long after the course is over to continue to analyze and critique your environment. To continue, personally, I love history and culture, and IB English allows you to view things with 100 set of eyes. Whether you're reading a poem or a short story or a text, you're taught to look at things through multiple perspectives, not just your own or what is created by your teacher or what is usually taught in school. Reading a book and saying, how did this book shape Russian culture, or how did the atmosphere of Russian culture at the time shape the novel itself, or how can we view the syntax of this poem psychoanalytically, from a psychoanalytic perspective, or things like what cultural implications does this text have? Those are all questions that you're going to hear or may ask in one sitting of an IB English class. Also, additionally, IB English is collaborative and creative. Group projects, roundtable discussions are two things that are common in an IB English class. You're asked to engage with people and to talk and to discuss and to both internalize information like a traditional, English class, but also look inside yourself and give a unique perspective based off of your own beliefs or your own morals. So I think if you're someone who's creative, if you're someone who likes to talk, learns best when listening to people and when engaging in conversation, someone who likes to look at things from different perspectives, someone who loves culture or history, I think IB English is the perfect course for you.
Well, first, Giacomo, let me say to you that during the junior year of your high school, you will not have a summer assignment. Unlike AP, which you'll have to read 2 books in the summer of the junior year. You do have a summer assignment for the senior year of high school, but you'll be reading a classic. a classic Colombian novel known as The Chronicles of a Death Foretold. And this classic is read by millions around the world, translated for the English audience. Next, you have Master and Margarita. The Master and Margarita is translated from Russian to English to read in our IB English class. And this book is read exclusively in this class. Next, you have A Doll's House. A Doll's House is loved by millions of people around the world. Next, you have Othello. And what's an English class without Shakespeare? A classic Shakespeare novel, a play for it to be read by the entire class. And we read as a class in IB. Next, you have A Streetcar Named Desire. You mention this book to someone, they definitely know about this play. This play is a classic again, and read in our IB English class. And lastly, we have Master Harold and the Boys. And Master Harold and the Boys is a book about slavery, a book about segregation, a book about racial tensions, and this will be another play that you read in your IB English class, especially in the senior year of your high school career. A Chronicle of a Death Foretold is one of the many books that you'll read in your senior year of IB English.
Looks like Giacomo and Ramon have a lot of information to get through. Let's speed this up.
But this one is read specifically during the summer, and it's a Colombian novel translated to English for our reading. And it starts off with by the individual of Santiago Nosar, which you will uncover the mysteries of why Santiago was murdered and why was he shamed by the entire town. The entire town knew about the murder, yet did nothing to stop the murder from happening. And you will find out the reasons why within this novel. Within the first page, you are introduced by the murder of Santiago Nosar, with the opening line, on the day they were going to kill him. Santiago Nosar got up at 5:30 in the morning. You will uncover the mysteries and be introduced by a plethora of characters that follow Colombian culture and aspects for fighting for family honor, dignity, and survival. This play is definitely necessary towards the IB curriculum and will be one of the most pleasurable reads that you will encounter through these 2 years.
As I'm sure you know, IB English HL is a 2 year, is one course broken up into 2 years, 11th grade and 12th grade. So, seeing as it's a 2 year course, we find it necessary to talk about novels from both years, or works of literature from both years, as it'll help further potential students' understanding of the course. For the 11th grade year, we chose the novel Into the Wild. Into the Wild is a postmodern work of literature written by John Krakauer. It follows the story of Chris McCandless as he drops out of college to follow his dreams and aspirations, which are to become a nature man. This book is a national bestseller and was on the top of the list for at least 6 months. It was a sensation. Many films and adaptations of it have been made. It's a very interesting novel. Yes.
The next book we'd like to address is The Master and Margarita. The Master and Margarita is a famous Russian book that is translated in English, and one of the many books that we'll read in the Words of Translation section of your senior year of IB. This book is a famous bestseller in Russia. If you go to the random citizens of Russia, you will see that they know this book from the beginning to the end of the novel. This book is a lot to explain because it's split into 3 different books, but they all end up coming together towards the end of this novel. This novel follows the themes of religion. It's one of the few books in IB that address religion, black magic, and sorcery. So I'll give you a brief premise of how it starts. It starts with an individual by the name of Ivan and Berlioz, who are just walking where they meet a professor who knows them from left to right and uses black magic to solve how they know them. Overall, this book is definitely a very captivating and one of the only books that you'll read in IB that have bizarre themes, bizarre complex ideas, and it's all together you'll be spending the most time of your IB senior year reading this fantastic novel.
Now, what would any English class be without at least a little bit of Shakespeare, right? Well, IB has that covered too. In IB, you read, I think it's 2 Shakespeare books, Hamlet and Othello. But in my personal opinion and the opinion of my co-worker, Othello is by far the superior one. Othello is very, you read Othello as part of the play section of the course, or the IB curriculum, in the second half of your senior year in class. This greatly expands your knowledge of the novel because having something read to you in class helps you better understand it since you have the opinions of others and your professor or teacher at your disposal right there, as opposed to going home and trying to interpret it yourself. This is especially helpful with novels or plays written by Shakespeare because, well, they're so complicated and hard to read that, like, anyone could have trouble reading it. But once it's read in class and broken down in such a way that makes so much sense, it helps everyone understand it better, which will in turn help you on your IB exam, which is the ultimate goal, to achieve a 7.
A Doll's House will be the final play that you'll read in the Words of Translation of the IB curriculum, a classic play written by Henrik Ibsen. The book follows a lot of concepts between gender roles, feminism, and woman empowerment. This book follows the traditional wife whose name is Nora. Nora owes money to another man, and she hid that from her own husband Torvald. The problem with this is that Nora is taking these loans out, to all in favor of her own husband. Her husband Torvald is sick, and she's willing to sacrifice that traditional gender role to save her husband. But the problem is, her husband doesn't know that. And even if she explains to her husband will be upset, disappointment, and start verbally abusing her because of this. And that is Nora's fear throughout the entire novel. You'll see that Torvald is not a nice man. He is her husband at the end of the day, but the stuff that he says to Nora is very degrading and not understandable. And that's why you'll see a lot of Nora exiting out that traditional comfort zone that she faces. And towards the conclusion of the novel, you'll see that struggle, that fear, and that pressure she has about taking a debt and what happens of how she overcomes the traditional gender role in society. This book is definitely a cult classic. There's actually a sequel that's written exclusively for Broadway. And this play is definitely a classic that you need to read through your IB curriculum.
The final play or work of literature is a play that we're going to talk about. Is called Master Harold and the Boys. It's a play written by Ethel Fugard. Alright, this play, Master Harold and the Boy, follows three characters, Sam, Willie, and Hallie, who are all trapped in a coffee shop together, a coffee shop owned by Hallie's mother or parents, after they're reined in. Hallie is white, Sam and Willie are both black characters, which plays a big role, as racism is probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest theme or central idea of the whole play. I don't want to spoil anything, so I won't keep talking about it, but I can tell you that I personally went to go see this play in the city with my school, and I don't think I've ever been more blown back by a play in my entire life. This play was phenomenal, and I thought that I just took so much away from it, and I appreciated it so much personally that not reading would be a sin. And IB would offer the perfect environment for you to read it, as you would read it in class, and you'd be able to discuss ideas, just as you would with Othello and the other plays read in class. This is just a true masterpiece, and there's no words for me to describe it.
Oh my god, my brain hurts. That was so much information. Hopefully you guys caught some of that. Let's slow it down.
What is with this time? I just don't have enough of it.
Wait, Giacomo, what are you doing over there? AP or IB? Because if you're doing the AP exam, time is very short.
I'm doing the AP exam. There's just no time left. I don't know if I'll be able to do this class. Is IB any shorter?
Well, Giacomo, why don't you try this IB exam? Look over it and see if you can finish it enough in time.
Wow, this is so much better. The 5-minute extra reading time just helps me to organize my thoughts so much better than I could imagine on an AP test. This is just a far superior exam. Thank you, IB.
Giacomo seems to like the structure of the IB test more than the AP test. Maybe Roman and Giacomo can decide and discuss more about why.
Paper 1 of the IB exam, you'll have 1 day to complete. That paper is typically 90 minutes, and you have a 5-minute reading paper to read both of the passages that day. That day, you will get either a short story or a poem.
Looks like Giacomo and Roman have a lot of information again to get through. Let's speed this up one more time.
All you have to do that day is write a literary commentary. That's it. You have 90 minutes to do one simple task. No stress unlike the AP exam, where you get multiple passages and you have to write multiple essays. In IB, no one gets a 1 or a 7. It is between a 2 and a 6. And anything above a 3 is usually good in the IB standards, enough to get you college credit. So overall, paper 1 is definitely something that you can rack up a lot of points towards your IB exam grade.
Second day of your IB English HL exam, you'll be taking paper 2. Paper 2 is really your chance to show off all of the knowledge and how deep your understanding is of each of the plays we've read in class, or you, as a bachelor student, would have read in class. Paper 2, as an overarching or general idea, is that the idea behind paper 2 is that students, for the second half of their senior year of IB English HL, they do a study on a specific kind of literature. In our case at Bayshore, we did plays. So when you're handed out your IB paper 2 exam, you'll have a 5-minute reading period, much like paper 1, and then you'll be provided with a prompt. Now, this reading period would obviously not be used in paper 2 to actually read the prompt, because it would not take you 5 minutes to read these prompts. They're like 3 sentences, but you can begin to organize and formulate your ideas about the passages. So after you read these prompts, you have to find a way. You would go to the drama section, obviously, but you'd have to find a way to incorporate 2 of the plays that you've read into the prompt. Paper 2 is 2 hours long, and you're allowed to leave after the first hour, reading time not included, but it's highly recommended that you stay, as you want to get the highest score possible, and you're spending 2 years, so you want to put as much effort in as possible.
So Giacomo, have you decided what class you're planning to take, either IB or AP, after the information you learned?
Well, Roman, after talking to you about it, I think I've come to a good decision. IB is the choice for me.
Hi,
Thanks to IB English, I was
live
able
here.
to afford this house, this big house.
Not that being rich matters,
Honestly,
But it definitely helps.
if you want to be rich, then take IB English.
We did it through Mr. Pasca's guidance.
Yeah.
And all the other teachers, like Mr. Sullivan, Mr. McDougall, Mr. Alanello. It was with them. It was a collaborated effort.
Exactly.
All of this literary analysis has helped us to gain the perfect wealth that we need to survive in this world.
And be philanthropic and help the Syrian refugees.
Yeah, the refugees we have refugees in there.
It's called Survival.
And we only could house the refugees because we took
IB
English.